let's start here with Aaron Boone giving us a little Soto update.
He did a lot pregame and went pretty well, so we'll see about availability now for tomorrow.
All right.
And that was today? He said that today? Or was that
When's that
yesterday?
from, Anthony?
When was that from? After
That's
the
from
game?
yesterday after the game.
Listen, you know I'm a huge Aaron Boone fan. But I think he's kind of leading us down the primrose path on Friday. Because on Friday he said he wouldn't rule out the possibility of maybe him appearing in Friday's game. Well, there were moments in Friday's game that went to extra innings where he came off the bench to get a big hit to try to win the game. Didn't play. Didn't play Saturday. That was a blowout. Didn't play yesterday when the game was up for grabs. Now we're talking about the possibility of today. Was there ever any shot he was playing in the series? But I guess they didn't want to say that. And they can make, if they decide to put him on the IL, they can make it retroactive to last Thursday. So it's not that big of a deal. But do you think he was being fully genuine? And I'm not blaming him. It's probably from the organization that he was ever available on Friday to do anything.
I know, but I never expect him to be honest in those situations.
Yeah, I don't either. But the fact is, I didn't expect after he said he could be available to maybe pinch hit on Friday that we wouldn't see him all weekend.
Well, as for Soto, he spoke too, and he's relieved about the situation generally.
It was what I was looking for. Just try to see what was really going on my elbow, and we were having a little bit of thinking what it's going to be like and how it's going to come out. And thank God it came out that way.
Yeah, it's all good. I just I thought we would see him this weekend and didn't, and you kind of saw it's only 3 games against one of the best teams in baseball, but what life without Juan Soto could look like.
Well, yep. You mean leaving runners on base?
Because Judge was terrific. So, I mean, and he's always been terrific, so you don't have to worry about Soto or a Judge needing Soto, but the rest of the lineup could have used him, I think, a little bit over the weekend.
Absolutely. And you can't be shocked by that. But, and listen, I'm not trying to downplay it. We already got into a big thing with Michael fighting on Friday, and I am in no way trying to suggest that the loss of Juan Soto for any period of time is not a big deal. When you lose your best or second best player and your, second best offensive weapon, whatever, it is a big deal. But I also think, Don, you don't have to scream that the sky is falling, because this is a pretty good team. They end up winning 1 over the weekend. Maybe it could have been 2. If Soto played, it definitely
maybe it would be 2.
It probably would have been 2. But I'm not going to act as if the difference between 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3 is a sign that everything's going to hell. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to be just fine. And I think having to play games without him, I mean, realistically, that happens over the course of a season.
I wasn't trying to be, or nor were you on Friday, performative to be like against Michael's opinion. Of course, you lose one of the best players in baseball, it's going to affect you. But I just look at why this team has been successful. Judge is raking. Volpe is raking. Their bullpen's been terrific. Their starting pitching has been out of this world. That you're still a really good team. All right, you were 82-80 last year because you lost Judge for most of the season. You lost Rizzo down the stretch. If you did not lose those guys, you're probably a 90-plus win team and finding your way into the playoffs. Well, that's probably the worst-case scenario for you if you lose Juan Soto for any extended period of time. That's still good. Now, are you special? No. But cry me a river that you're not special, okay? You're still a very good baseball team that is equipped financially to improve. And, oh, by the way, you've got the Martian that can come up and replace him, who looks like he can be a generational-type talent that right now is being landlocked this season because of Juan Soto. So we were just looking for silver linings, which I thought there were a few, rather than crying your pillow at the possibility of Juan Soto being out for a long time, and now you find out he's not going to be.
Yes, and that's how I felt before the show started Friday. Obviously, I came in. I get to Friday thinking, here's a day where we're going to maybe talk a little basketball. Game 1 of the finals, kind of cool. And then it's like, no, Soto's hurt. We're not going to. Okay, cool. How big a deal is the Soto news? And in baseball, Don, it's just you immediately have to analyze it as if it's going to be a 3-month injury. We find out 2 hours later he's feeling a little not so great. He has a little boo-boo on his arm. He'll be back in a week or less.
But with the exception of the Astros series 2 years ago, where the injuries were just too much for them to overcome and they got swept by Houston, And then last year, where everything kind of fell apart because Judge was out. And I do think that was more emotional than physical because of how much Judge means to that team. This team has a history of overcoming injuries. In this season, what was supposed to derail it, Peter? Going into the year, what was going to stop you from saying the Yankees could win the 2024 World Series? Cole being out. Hasn't affected them at all. So let's give this organization some credit for having the next guy up mentality and finding ways to win.
Did Don just win point guard at 311? Did you just win point guard at 311?
I don't know. It's up to Anthony.
Because just for the record, and again, now I feel bad. It's kind of like we're arguing with Michael and he's not here. But like, again, huge deal to potentially lose Soto. But before you do the obligatory sky is falling, you just said it so perfectly. You would have said, if Garrett Cole's out for half the year, you're just praying to hold on till he gets back. Stay alive. Just stay in the ball game. And if Cole gets back, you got a chance. No, they're thriving. And when they get Cole back, you feel like they could be unstoppable. So you don't know what's going to happen, is the point. You just don't know.
Right. You don't know. Now, you saw this weekend, you missed Soto.
You did.
But you could have very easily won the first game and went into extra innings, and the only game that was really a blowout was on Saturday. And, oh, by the way, that's the Dodgers, the best team in baseball, one of the best teams in baseball.
And they were playing a home game.
And you wouldn't have to worry about them. Well, we'll get to that in a second. You wouldn't have to worry about them until the World Series. And by the way, the Dodgers have won one World Series since 1988, and it was during the COVID season. And I'm sorry, Dodger fans want to attack me. I'm not trying to take your trophy away. You won it. Everybody could have won it. You're the only one that won it during the COVID season. You won a World Series, and you played 60 games in the regular season. I'm sorry. That's got to have an asterisk next to it. No? 162-game season scaled down to 60, and you win the World Series that year. Good for you, but it's the only World Series you've won since 1988. So I'm sorry, nothing's guaranteed that the Dodgers are even going to get there, as much money as they have and as good a team as they are. And there is no guarantee that if they got there, they'd win it anyway, because they've only won once in the last 36 years.
Now, how do you feel about Luis Gil's performance last night, coming out of a big game?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's what do you expect?
I mean, I thought given the moment, he was pretty good. It wasn't his best outing, but it's enough to win a game, as they did.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can honestly expect him to give you every single outing. And I'm sorry, you can win the Cy Young Award, and not every outing is going to be, like, pristine. Again, you're going up against one of the best teams in Major League Baseball.
But 5 hits, 3 runs.
And you go 5 2/3 with, all right, it's not the quote-unquote quality start, but you put your team in a position to win. And you're going up against, by the way, a really good pitcher in Glasnow, who, basically did worse than you did.
He did.
He gave up 5 runs in 6 innings.
8 hits.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think you take that. And you end up getting a win to end the weekend. Of course, Judge does judgy things. Grisham hits the big home run. Here's Aaron Boone on Grisham's home run.
It was huge. I feel like he's had some decent at-bats here these last few days, getting a chance to play, obviously, and had more good ones against Glasnow, who's obviously about as tough as it gets. Works a walk the first time, and then, Grish can get to a heater.
Grishy.
And he didn't miss it. I know a lot of people in there really, really excited for him.
Yeah, he didn't get a bunt down on Friday, but he made up for it yesterday. Hey, it's baseball, Susan. You could lose 2 out of 3 to the worst team in baseball. But you held your own, and now you move on to take on a pretty good Kansas City team, and we'll see what happens at the end of the week against the Red Sox. Would you be at all concerned if we don't see Soto tonight?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a little bit more.
Well, I mean, concerned adjacent, right? Obviously, we know he doesn't need Tommy John. They haven't put him on the IL yet. But just, all right, what's going on here? I thought he might have been eligible to pinch hit on Friday, and now we get to Monday and he's still not playing?
Yeah,
what's going on?
New series, got the whole weekend.
So we'll keep an eye, because you're going to have the very exciting lineup at some point coming up. And we'll find out if he's going to be in the lineup tonight.
You want to talk to get on the busy phones?
That's what I'm waiting for.
All right, that's Diamond Notes, of course, brought to you by London Jewelers. Yeah, visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the mall at Short Hills. And with that, we get things started with Joey in Pittsburgh. Hey, Joey.
Yeah, hey, guys. I just had a question. While I was listening to what y'all were saying, I realized my original question was poo-poo. So
what was it? I'm kind of curious.
Well, my original question was, Heels had obviously a really awesome season over the last month and a half or so, and I was just thinking, was yesterday on the national stage, he did pretty well, like you said, 5 hits, 3 runs, but that was probably his worst outing given his recent outing. So I just was wondering if that was his humble moment.
Well, if it is, good. I think everybody needs to be humbled.
Well, and also if that's the low bar, then that's great.
Hey, if my worst outing of the year is going to be 5 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs,
and you win, and you end up winning the game,
a walk and a strikeout, and still pitched well enough to at least maybe not get a decision, but put my team in a position to win a game.
I think you take that.
Hey, and you know what? That's all you ever ask from your stopper, right? Because he's filling in for Cole. You possibly could be getting swept in that Dodger series. He put you in a situation where you had a chance to win the game. Again, he wasn't lights out, but if that's going to be the worst of Heel all year, he is going to win the Cy Young Award, and you're going to be very thrilled to have him on your rotation.
Let's go to Max in Long Island. Hey, Max.
Hey, gentlemen, how we doing?
Good.
I have a couple points I want to make. First of all, I'm off the Gleyber train, man. The guy has shown year in, year out, he can't be consistent in the field. He can't be consistent at the plate. I know he's chipping away at his average, but that error in the 8th on Saturday night, was it the 8th? It was the 8th?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was awful.
You're talking about nobody on with 2 outs versus a grand slam by Teoscar Hernandez to put the game away. That's unacceptable. I'm not even talking about the one on Friday.
Dude,
that one was ridiculous
that was even... This is a walk year for him, and this is what you get? A lackluster effort, 5 home runs. He's batting .230. As you said, he's chipping away at the batting average. It's been better. But, Peter, this is a guy that's in his walk year. So he's killing himself financially. But any thought of finding some way to keep him, that's over. The problem is you're not going to be able to move him. Nobody's going to want him, and you're going to probably have to figure out some way, to make this work, because DJ looks like he's still kind of going through trying to get back, trying to get his sea legs after missing so much time. He looks like he's got a little ways to go before he's going to kind of get back into it. But this is a really, really disappointing season for Torres. It's costing him money. And now, Peter, I get a sense, is he going to be the Gallo of 2024? Where the Yankees are winning, everything's great, but let's complain about Gleyber Torres and his batting average and his laziness and his style and his errors. Is that going to be what's going to happen? Because there's not much to complain about with his team, just like there wasn't much to complain about the 22 Yankees. But everybody was calling about Gallo. Am I going to have a meltdown this summer with somebody being upset when the Yankees are on their way to winning 110 games, people complaining about Gleyber Torres?